Alright everybody, we got the Darth Vader here trying to help us do a VVT-i setup. We're trying to get these timing gears unlocked, and I found a couple videos on YouTube and did some research online, and no matter what I tried, I couldn't get these suckers to unlock. So out of all the research I was doing, I was beginning to get an idea on how these things operate. I'm sorry I don't have one that I can take apart and show you. There are other videos on YouTube that'll show you the insides of it, but what I'm going to show you how to do it, the easiest way to unlock it. Took me about 10 seconds flat to get this done. To do the actual unlocking. To set it up took me a little bit longer. So what I did was, this is how it starts. I want to show you on this is the old gear. I did a timing chain job on this water pump. We did a head gasket. That's my Scion XD as in dog. Over there we got the cam out of it, the intake. So I put it all together and I was driving around. It was driving normally. Everything was good. No noises, no nothing. I checked the slop on the timing chain when I received a code P0012. This dang code kept coming back. So I'm hoping this is the problem of my whole thing, because I didn't know this step existed, having to unlock these before we stuck them onto the car. Here's the intake cam right here. Okay, first I'm going to show you on this old VVT-i setup. This is the old one that was on the car. If you look real close, you can see a hole there and a hole there. So I put white on them so that you can see them a lot better. They're a little bit off to the left of that bolt. Boy, somebody's burning a belt. Oh, good thing they turned it off. Okay, they're a little bit to the left of the bolt, so that's normal because this one's the same way. Let me turn this back to where it's perpendicular or parallel. So what I did was on this one, you can see that the two marks are here, and that's in the lock position. This one I already unlocked, and this should actually be, oh yeah, that's right. No, actually this should be like this, because that hole should be parallel to this hole. So we got both those two holes in the same spot, and you can see where I unlocked it, the gear kind of went clockwise, or counterclockwise, I'm sorry. Counterclockwise when we unlocked it. And that's where it has to be, to its furthest counterclockwise position. And I was told to inject air into, find the elongated hole back here, and then 90 degrees to the left would be the hole that you inject the air in. Well, we tried it that way and it wasn't working. Little did we know that the air was coming out of that hole. So it wasn't building up pressure and it wasn't unlocking it. So what we did was I looked at another video, and this video showed us on how to use the cam to turn the inside so that the gear will unlock, and then it'll come off the, I believe they said it was 40 to 50 degrees to the left to its furthest position. So what I did was I painted the elongated hole. That timing dot matches with that tooth, and if you keep going, it matches with that timing line, matches with that, and it lines that hole up with the whole timing deal. Well, on the back of it, if you look inside it, you have to be very careful, because there's 3 slots that this one little nub can fit into. And it matters because if you look at those 2 slots here and there, they're kind of at an angle. If you accidentally stick the little nub that's right there on the cam inside one of those holes, you can see that if you start torquing it, it's going to start putting pressure on that nub. Either you'll break the nub or you'll damage the gear. The nub goes here where it's white. That's where the nub should be. And if you look, that nub matches with this. Oh, it's actually pointing at this timing gear all the way up here. That nub goes all the way directly across to that. So all that lines up. So what I did was I looked where this was. I made it go straight up so it faces this. And what I would do, or what I did actually is, let me see if I can show it to you. See what that, Well, I guess it came off because it still has a little bit of oil on it. Let me get a paint pen. And if you look at that nub, that right there is where you're going to want to mark it. So now you see that that paint line matches with that nub. So now I'm going to install that paint line where it lines up with all this so that we can get it inside this slot. And well, when it's in this position, it's easy to get it in that way, but since we have it unlocked, the nub is actually 40 to 50 degrees to the left from the original timing marks, but that's where we want it. We want to put it on the cam in the unlock position. So I got the nub pointed straight down at me. And if you look on the cam, if I didn't have it taped up, you would be able to see 4 holes. One here, one directly across from it, and on this row, one here, and then one directly across from it. There's 4. So what I did was I wrapped them all up with black tape. But first on this little deal, I put a yellow line where one of the holes was, or is. And I got a pocket knife and I poked a hole in it so that I can put a air nozzle with a rubber tip on it and plug it in there with these other 3 all blocked off. So that once you inject air in here, what it's going to do is going to come out of that hole and that hole, which goes into this hole and this crevice, that hole, that hole. There's not one, oh yeah, that hole. So there's 4 on here also. But when you stick this timing gear onto the cam, this surface that's in here will match up with this surface that's out here and create it fits so snug that it creates an airtight seal. And not perfect, but enough to where if pressure builds up, it won't seep out of that area faster than it's able to unlock the locker for the VVT-i cam gear. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find that other mark I had, that yellow one, and plug it in there. See how the yellow's lining up? See, once you got it sit flush like that, and as you can see, I got a new bolt with my new gear. That's the old bolt with my old gear. So now we're going to lay it down. And all you're going to do is put the bolt in snug with your fingers. Or hand tight, I guess. Change position. So once we get this bolt snug, there's no need to tighten it because all you're trying to do is hold the gear onto the cam so that it doesn't come out and it'll keep that seal. We don't want to tighten it yet because we still have to, mine's unlocked, but when you stick the gear on, to unlock it, you got to leave the bolt snug and loose. And then after it's unlocked, then you torque the bolt after it's unlocked with the cam out of the car. You want to torque the bolt first before you do the timing chain or anything else. So once you put the bolt on finger tight, then you go to this mark where you mark the hole for the gear. You're going to inject air in there, and then you're going to hear it click or pop or whatever you call it, and the gear is going to turn counterclockwise from the cam. This way, while the cam's going this way, the gear goes that way. After that, after you have it unlocked, you torque the bolt to 42 foot-pounds. Once it's torqued, then by hand you're going to move the gear back and let it lock. Once you've done that process, then you install the cam back into the car and do the timing chain afterwards. So I hope this helps anybody. If you have any questions, just comment on my video and I'll try to get back to you. And hopefully I explained it correctly. All right, check you guys later.